Welcome to Midnight Movie Talk live from Los Angeles, Super Bowl post-game edition as we get into the big stories of this Sunday over the weekend. And we start with, was this the best Super Bowl ever? I mean, you go back and you look at some of the games we've had over the years. We've had some pretty good ones recently, but I would suggest that offensively, this was about as good as you would expect from, two teams that we knew would be able to score. The Chiefs and the Eagles both have quarterbacks that can get the ball in the end zone, and they have plenty of weapons around them. When you look at this game, and we'll get into the movies in a minute, I just want to just touch on the Super Bowl, and then we'll get into the trailer Super Bowl, get into Magic Mike, the worst film that I have seen in a decade plus, and I'll tell you why. In addition to Amazon has figured out theatrical, how the hell has Netflix not figured out theatrical? All that coming up. But you start with the Chiefs, okay? Quickly on that. The reason they are Super Bowl champions tonight comes down to little things, right? I love to hear on MMT talk about little things that are actually huge things. And you look at Pacheco, their running back, right? Pick him up in the 7th round out of Rutgers, the football powerhouse that is. I mean, my Ohio State Buckeyes just blister them every single year. But you pick him up in the 7th round, and dude ends up being a major contributor to the team, along with getting Tony from the Giants midseason. So you get rid of Tyreek Hill, and you end up with 2 other speedsters, right? And Andy Reid knows how to use weapons. And both those guys, Tony and Pacheco, ended up being huge for them as they win here by a field goal 38-35. Your MVP's got to be Mahomes. I didn't see it. It's got to be, right? I mean, it has to be Patty Mahomes. What was the best Super Bowl trailer you saw? Let's talk about the one that made the biggest impact, I think, is The Flash. A lot of you were expecting to see the Marvels. Feige, Marvel, Disney, listen, let's hold that. We have Guardians coming up next. So we're going to just keep Marvels on the bench for now. We still have some time. I know you're waiting. We didn't get Spider-Man No Way Home until the last second. So, that's what happens sometimes with these trailers. You get them last minute. And as such, we still don't have the Marvels. But you start with The Flash. And the first thing you notice about The Flash is we all know Ezra Miller, right? He's out. He's not coming back. He's not going to be in the DCU going forward, no matter how much James Gunn loves the film. And apparently he does. He tweeted it out today during the Super Bowl that he loves The Flash. I trust Andy Muschietti. I think this is going to be a very strong film, but you can never trust Ezra Miller again, even though dude finally, my God, it took forever, has finally managed to stay out of the news cycle for consecutive months on end. But you still can't have him going forward. So what do you notice about the Flash trailer? You notice it's heavy on Keaton. It's heavy on Batman. I called it the Flash of Batman. I mean, it really looks like a Batman film more than a Flash film in ways. You look at that trailer. Certainly the Super Bowl ad. So Warner Brothers is protecting the brand. I mean, they obviously have to release the movie. It cost what, $200 million to make? Not the $300 that Indy, the new Indy film, you saw that trailer here tonight. I'm not that excited for that film. We'll talk about that in a minute. But when you look at the Flash, it just makes sense that you're going to highlight Keaton because you need to protect, because you never know. Ezra Miller could go off again. He's had a habit of doing really dumb things. So how can we trust Ezra Miller to keep clean until the release date? That was the first trailer. I think we also look at other things I saw here tonight. Creed 3. You guys know I saw the film on Thursday night. Huge fan of the film. I think it is not as good as 1, because 1 is really way up there. I mean, it's a 9.5 out of 10 for me. Creed 3 is a 9. That's way up too. Better than 2, not as good as 1, but audiences are going to love Creed 3. It was really nice seeing MGM put that spot in during tonight's Super Bowl. Cocaine Bear. Does it not look like the kind of film that is going to get really tiresome really quick? I actually tweeted that. I said, hey, is anyone really leery of this? Are you think this kind of looks lame? And I had a feeling he followed me, and I go, I hope he doesn't see this tweet. But this is what I do. I can't stop myself, and I will not censor myself because of who follows me. So here comes Phil Lord, who of course executive produced it. And I'm like, no. He said, did you have to say that? Why are you doing that? So that's the danger. But you know what? Listen, at the end of the day, it's in good fun, unless we're talking about films like Babylon and The Whale and Magic Mike's Last Dance. Let's just do it. Let's talk about Magic Mike 3 winning the weekend at $8.2 million, which is not a good number. But remember this. Warner Brothers put a very limited release on this. They had the same plan of attack that Disney / 20th Century had on Barbarian. If you remember that, they limited the screens so that they would force more people to go to the venues that had it to pack the audiences in, because the producers of Barbarian, much like Warner Brothers thinking about Magic Mike's Last Dance, they wanted a large crowd hooting and hollering, having a good time with the film. You know, Barbarian certainly is that kind of horror film. Magic Mike and Last Dance, first of all, I'm about ready to savage it. Just give me a second. 8.2, it says here decent. I mean, it's not like 2 million, but 8.2 is not great. But again, it helps that you only have it on 1,500 screens. So that jacks the per screen average up to, I think, almost 6,000. Still not a huge number. But this thing is over. Okay, Magic Mike is over. Why? Because Magic Mike 3 sucks ass. Can I be more direct? Is there a way to be more direct than what I just said about this film? I have told you guys repeatedly going into this film that given the original, the gritty nature of that original, and the Florida feel, it is a very solid film. Those of you who've never watched Magic Mike, you probably think it's a stripper movie. And of course it is. But it's got so much more. It's got the class dynamics, right? The working class of Clearwater / Tampa, Florida, and them trying to rise above their crap existence by creating their troupe of strippers. Matthew McConaughey really elevates that film. And if you noticed, one thing we have to give major props to Matthew McConaughey about, he knew when to tag out. He was out of XXL, and he was certainly nowhere to be found. Even on the Zoom call in the middle of Magic Mike 3, they bring back some of the members of the troupe, and he's not there. Because he knows, after looking at the script, this is the worst possible script you could ever write about a Magic Mike adventure. A continuation of the saga that goes to London with Salma Hayek, this mega rich woman going through divorce, who has her world turned upside down by Magic Mike and his extended strip tease with her to open the film. That is at least 2 to 3 minutes too long. Everything in this film is 2 to 3 minutes too long. It comes in at 155. It should be 130, not a second over. That's the least of its problems. The script is, I can't believe we talked about Wonder Woman 84 this way. And we're talking about it, another film from Warner Brothers, the same thing. How do you read the script for Magic Mike's Last Dance and say, let's make this film? You can't. You don't. But yet Warner Brothers did, just like 84. And again, kudos to James Gunn for saying, you know what, Patty Jenkins, 84 was so atrocious, there's no way in hell you're doing a part 3. She would have to come up with the best script ever written for me to let her direct another Wonder Woman film, certainly to write one. So you look at Magic Mike, and you look at this film that is sappy, that is unsexy, that is unbelievable, and yes, the dreaded word that I don't like to use, but a lot of people are throwing around, it's woke. Okay? It has the element of telling you that, you know, women empowerment, God bless, that's not the biggest of its problems. But if that is an issue for you, you're really going to dislike Magic Mike's Last Dance. But this film was unfun, overlong, and the worst script that I could ever imagine for the film. I told you guys when I watched the trailer, I go, if this film is like the trailer, which we know it would be because trailers are the movie essentially from almost every studio, we're in trouble. And after sitting through Magic Mike, if you guys missed my tweet, I'm going to pull it up. This was from yesterday. As I came out, I was angry. This is half joking, but also half serious. I did sit in the parking lot for over 30 minutes just in case one of the Magic Mike Last Dance producers came by to say hello. This was me in the parking garage. I was so angry. I was livid because it's horrible. I said, I'm going to be in here for for the next 30 minutes, having sit through this thing that is the worst film I've seen this year or any other year recently. And it is an absolute desecration of the original. I can't believe that Warner Brothers went with this film. Let's do some comments here. Roll into it. By the way, quickest way in here tonight is to get me with the super chat. You're in, you're on, and we are post Super Bowl excitement here early on MMT. We're all sitting around. The game's over. What are you doing? Let's talk about movies. We just talked about the trailers. We're going to talk about Netflix, how they can't figure out theatrical. That's all coming. And by the way, Chris Gore, thank you for being here. I know you watched it at your place. I watched it at mine. I didn't go anywhere today. I said, I'm staying here and I'm watching it right in front of me. That's how I like to watch Super Bowl. No distractions. Physique coming up with Channing Tatum, who actually looks pretty good in this film. I gotta say, he got himself in shape. Magic Mike's Last Dance is a 2 out of 10. It's absolutely terrible. I gave it a 0 out of 10 just to make a point of how brutally bad this is, right? Superhero movies. A 2 out of 10 is very generous. For me, a 0. This is lower grade than The Whale and lower than Babylon. In fact, I went with Jeff Ewing and Paul Hardester yesterday, the three of us sitting there, and Jeff's lovely girlfriend, Katie. We watched the film, and I remember in the middle of the film, I was leaning up, looking at them, going, what the fuck are we watching? What is this? Who said this was a good film to make? And here we are, watching a terrible film, and it kills the franchise. The only way to save this franchise, if you ever want to do another Magic Mike movie, you have to open the next film pretending 3 never existed. And to really have a character say, hey, Mike, why don't we take you and go over to London and you start a cabaret show, a stripper cabaret show in London. And he looks at them and goes, that would be the stupidest idea ever. Then you can start Magic Mike 4 to just pretend it never existed. They have destroyed the franchise. 120% dead. Let's put that into perspective. Avatar: The Way of Water is a 4 out of 10. Boring, too damn long, has almost no emotion. 100% accurate, all of this. Some good action visuals. Yes, so 4, and this is a 2. Babylon, 5 out of 10. Too high, but fine. Good opening, 2 great scenes, 100%. I feel like I'm writing this. This is not me, guys. I want you guys to know that. Movie has no real plan of anything, too damn long, 100%. But this film is a 0 out of 10. I would watch Babylon again before I watch this film, Magic Mike 3. I would watch The Whale again before I watch Magic Mike 3. I mean, I can't believe I'm even here saying that I think a film is worse than those 2 films. But it is, given the level of respect, and I know that still sounds weird to those of you who haven't watched Magic Mike, the level of respect I have for the original, it's a 0. It's a 0 out of 10. Yes, the Flash, I'm Batman, Michael Keaton part. That's what the whole thing is. Because Warner Brothers is like, Ezra, if you screw up again, we're just going to bury you, and we're going to make it all about Keaton. That's what the trailer basically says. If we need to, we can just cut all of your stuff out, and it is essentially a Batman kind of Reeves's reboot thing with Michael Keaton. That's what they have. You know they have a cut of that. Just in case Ezra Miller, what are we saying in case? When Ezra Miller does something stupid again, breaking into a house and stealing bottles of vodka. Dude is rich. I never understand that. Right? Ezra Miller has way more money than I have. More than likely how much you have. Yet he is breaking into houses to steal bottles of booze. Have you ever heard of a liquor store? I imagine you have the money on your debit card, dude. I know you're never going to get inside the head of someone who's a little off, and we know Ezra Miller clearly is off. And I don't mean that as like a joke, right? Mental illness. No, but there is something wrong, and he needs help, and it looks like maybe he's getting it finally. Knock of the Cabin, 10 out of 10. Not for me. But I see what you're doing here, Super Movies. Yes, we are way like Creed, 9 out of 10. Magic Mike, 0. I mean, it's a virtual impossibility for me to end up at 0. And it really would be a 1 or 2 for me. But the reason we are going to slide that all the way to the nadir is because it is a desecration of the original. And I very much value the first. Second one's not good, but it's certainly anything's better than this. My God. And it's interesting. What do you guys think of that whole, what's up with the release strategy? It's almost like they were protecting themselves. Warner Brothers is in protection mode. They're like, let's release it on 1,500. So when we get a smaller number, we can say, hey, it's only on 1,500 screens, right? That's all part of the game. It's optics, right? It's optics. The studios are smart. All right, let's get into the next thing I want to talk about. And then, by the way, coming up, the shill of the week. If you missed it last week, we pick one critic per week here on MMT and hand them the trophy of MMT's shill of the week. The critic who loves everything, at least 95% of the movies they see, they like. And the ones they don't like, they just say, it wasn't for me. Not savage it like me and Magic Mike's Last Dance. No. So let's think about this. Netflix, if you're watching the Super Bowl here tonight, you saw Air, which is the new Amazon film coming out about Nike and the pursuit of Michael Jordan back in the 80s. They were just a fledgling brand, and they say, hey, we need to add this guy, Michael Jordan, who we all know turned into Michael Jordan, and we know who that is, and we know what happened, the legend. But back then, he was just the guy out of North Carolina, certainly a talent, and they sign him to the deal, and it changes Nike forever. Anyhow, when you look at that trailer, the first thing you notice is at the end of it, it doesn't say streaming next Friday. It says in theaters exclusively March, whatever the hell date it is. Why is it that Amazon has figured out theatrical and Netflix still doesn't know what's going on? They don't get it. They don't want to do it. And when I posed this question on Twitter the other day, I asked you guys, let's check the latest results of this. The question was very simple. When you look at Netflix, do you consider them in the same light, the same cachet of Warner Brothers, Universal, all of the major studios? Here's the very latest on that. Let's get the vote tab right now. Our total is at 634 votes. 63% of you say no. You do not view Netflix movies the same as Warner Brothers, Universal, Disney, Paramount, Sony. Name a studio that has theatrical. Could have thrown A24, Neon, IFC, anyone in there. No. And then also not until theatrical. So that gives you a grand total of 79, almost, let's call it 80% of the people who voted say no. Netflix movies are not the same as Warner Brothers, Universal, Disney, etc. Now, before you say, I'm not saying every single movie that Netflix comes out with is not, let's say a prestige film. Those films are different. When we're talking about The Irishman, certainly a film that I loved a few years back, The Two Popes, even Don't Look Up, Power of the Dog. These are films, but the rest of it, Gray Man, you're not taking that as seriously. And there's a reason, because they don't have the cachet of other studios. You just told me in the comments, in the voting here, 80% of you say no. And that's how I feel. So it's just, they can't figure it out. But here's Amazon with Air coming out. And by the way, it's going to be on 3,000 screens, which is absolutely insane. Hey, Marvin, thanks for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Are you going to watch Winnie the Pooh? Yes. No, listen to this. Marvin, I am going to go see it. I said to myself, I want to see this film because it looks so absurd, so ridiculous that I am in. It's a Fathom Events thing, right? So Marvin, for you, I was already going to do it, but I am going to do it for you now for the super chat. No question. I will go see Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. For those of you who haven't seen the trailer, I feel like I should pull it up. But is it a copyright claim? Do you think the people from Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey would mind if I showed the trailer right now? But YouTube, we can't show it. Maybe I'll just do it without the volume. I'll just for like 2 seconds. Give me 2. You know what I can do? Hold on. I know what I can do. I can do what do you call a page? I could do the IMDb page. Hold on, blood, and it'll have the trailer sitting there. We just leave it in the background. That's perfect. But Fathom Events is doing this coming up really soon, right? It's in the next week or two. Oh no, it's this week. It's this Wednesday. Okay, it's this Wednesday, the 15th. Okay, hold on. Here it is. Let's pull it up. So here's Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Where is it? Where the hell did it go? Here it is. Okay, share this. Okay, here we go. So when you look at this film, they're putting it on Fathom Events. So they're not doing like, so it's a very interesting distribution plan. You saw them do this with Jeepers Creepers 3 and 4. And here it is in cinemas, February 15th, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. So it is, Winnie the Pooh is a savage killer. You see a head in Winnie the Pooh's hand, right? So someone dresses up like Winnie the Pooh and they go to visit Christopher Robinson's place, or he's in the film, and then it's absolute mayhem and murder. Who knows? Is it like Terrifier 2? We're going to find out. But you know what? We will see this movie on Wednesday, and we will absolutely do a stream about it. We'll do the Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey stream Wednesday. Also want to mention this. For those of you that are curious about Ant-Man Quantumania opens up this week, I am seeing it tomorrow. We're going to do a stream tomorrow night here, MMT Live, tomorrow, about 9:15 is my guess. Maybe a little bit after, right around that time. We will do our typical review embargo deal where we only are allowed to discuss some of it, but not all of it, because if we talk about all of it, then they'll tell us to take the stream down, even if we really like the film. Okay? So we'll do that. It's not a review thing tomorrow night. But I will see this, and we'll do this on, what day was that? Wednesday. Wednesday, we'll do it for sure. Gore, good evening to you. As someone who appreciates a fit male body and abs, is there anything positive to say about Magic Mike? Let's do it now. Thank you, Gore. Marvin, yes, it'll be fun on Wednesday night. Thank you again. I really appreciate that. Here we go. Let's go to the physique critique. Let's do it. Here comes our friend who got himself back in shape for this film. In Magic Mike, The Last Dance, or Magic Mike's Last Dance, you see Channing Tatum finally get himself back into shape. Look here. Okay, that's the original. Hold on, give me a second. Here we go. This is him from back when that first one was out. And the first one was out in, like, what was that, 2012? Was that 13? Somewhere in there. Somewhere in the early 2010s, okay? So there he is with his buddies, who, by the way, show up on the Zoom call in this film. Joe Magnola, what is his name? You know who I'm talking about, that guy on the left. But look at, Channing looks very good. You know what Channing Tatum has? He has a long torso. So as we do our physique critique, this is one of the things we touch on. He has a long torso, which helps him avoid the dreaded saddlebags. That's, you know what's funny is, like, of all the things, you guys know I go to the gym, I bust my ass. But truthfully, that's the one thing that I have to be, like, at the leanest. I always have a little bit on the sides, but not Channing Tatum. It looks right here. So this is him. This is for you, Gore, by the way. This is him here. This is him on, hold on the set. Give me a second. Let's pop it up. Okay, so this is him on the actual set. And look at him. I would say he looks really good there. Like, for a man who's, 10 years older, he busted his ass to get back in shape. One thing I want to mention about Magic Mike, for those of you who had the misfortune of seeing it, do you guys see in the background of the shot, there's water? One of the last scenes in the movie is Channing Tatum doing a strip dance with the younger Selma Hayek, the version of Selma Hayek that he fools around with in the beginning. The dancer, and he recreate the dance that we see at the beginning of the film. I can't believe I have to think about this movie again. And he's on the water. He's sliding around on the stage, doing all his strip dancing stuff. And I'm like, how do you not, like, wipe out? You know how many times he fell over and just about cracked his skull open during that scene? I guarantee you it was numerous times. But also, if you've seen the film, they go from this scene where, look, see the puddle of water down there? The next scene, they're out on stage and there's no water, there's no nothing. I'm like, you know how long it would take to clean up a pool? But literally, like, 2 minutes later, they're on the stage without the pool. That's how bad Magic Mike is. But we get back to Channing Tatum. He looks very good. He's very lean. He's got this almost an 8-pack, right? The long torso. But one thing I also want to point out, I always talk about this. It's very important. No one wants to discuss these things. Channing Tatum is going bald. Okay? As a guy who every year goes, wait a second, my it's going back. My hairlines are receding. Just whatever. I mean, as you get older, it happens. He's going bald. And in the movie, you can see when the light's really shining down, his whole, okay, I know this is like so inside male pattern baldness. So across the front is very lean, right? And the back is going to stay. Whenever you lose your hair, you don't lose it typically through that crown, right? All this stuff stays. It's the stuff in the middle. He is going bald. When you watch the film, please, no one. Why am I the only person who notices these things? Am I the only dude, Gore? Do you think about, am I going to go bald? I don't know, but I'm just telling you, he is. He looks very good. I would give Channing Tatum, I would say this. Okay, here's what we'll say about Channing Tatum's critique on his physique. Women like this body, right? If you were to ask a typical woman, and I am just going just in general, okay? Let's not complicate this. Let's please not complicate this more than it needs to be. They would say that is what they want. That's a good looking guy. Lean, Brad Pitt, Fight Club, same kind of thing. You know, that's a good looking thing. So the physique critique for a woman, it's probably like a 9.5, 10. For a guy, they'd be like, I want to be a little more muscular, but he looks pretty good. So there, for those of you who ever missed a physique critique, that's how we do it. Excellent call, Chris Gore. I appreciate it. Let's get into comments. I'm not worried about my hair. Your hair does look good, Chris Gore. Your hair looks fantastic. The hairline critique, Life of Bri. If we're doing, let's just pivot to that right now. We pivot to the hairline critique for Channing Tatum. I don't know. I'm telling you, it's not looking great. It's not looking great. He might need to get a transplant. I mean, this is the show we do. For those of you who are just joining, those of you who are like, what the hell is going on? This is the show that we do. Hey, Dante, Verbal Riot. Subscribe to his channel if you haven't already. He's great. I love Dante. You know what I love about Dante? And not because he's giving me a super chat. That has nothing to do with it. It's the fact that that man is outspoken. That man has belief in his convictions, and he'll say what he believes to be the truth, which is what we need more of. That's what this channel's all about. That's what Dante's channel's all about. Go subscribe to Verbal Riot if you haven't. He's awesome. Leave Netflix alone. I didn't. Thank you, man. And listen, I hope I'm going to see you tomorrow at Ant-Man, right, Dante? Tomorrow I'm going to see him. Dante's going to be there. Chris going to be there. I'll be there for those of you who are going to be at Ant-Man tomorrow. Let's hope that you guys ready? Let's do it. Let's do it here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for MMT's Shill of the Week. And I actually just put the name on there with it. I really should have thought about this and built it up, but pretend you don't see the name. Tonight, we are honoring a longtime member of the Los Angeles press, a person very familiar with Q&As. In fact, he does so many of them, it's a virtual impossibility for him to hate a movie. That's why he doesn't hate very many movies. Because if he did, the Q&A movie, the money from that would disappear. Also, he works for Deadline. And Deadline works with the entertainment business. And if you want to keep your advertising dollars flowing, you don't trash films like I do. But we don't care. We're unencumbered by the system. We do our own thing. We are rogue. We are renegades. Not Pete Hammond. Pete Hammond, you, my friend, are MMT's Shill of the Week. Let's go to Pete Hammond's Rotten Tomatoes page and start picking apart some of his reviews. Now, the difference between Pete Hammond and last week's winner, Erick Davis, is as we look at Pete Hammond's movie reviews, we are not going to get all fresh, the whole page of fresh. That would be too much for anybody except Erick Davis. Here we go. Let's go through and see what he said here. Your Place or Mine, I haven't seen it because why? Everybody help me out. It's a Netflix, quote, big air quote, movie. He has it as a fresh, even though it's at 38%. Conversely, he has Knock at the Cabin at Rotten, which I promise you is 100 times the film that Your Place or Mine is, but yet I digress. Fresh. Shotgun Wedding. Now, it's a streaming movie, so he's allowed. It's also not an awards movie. Plain, I liked enough. Megan, yes. I'm okay. Man Called Otto, yes. Babylon. Fresh? This is why you won the title. I didn't even know this was here, Pete. Guaranteed to be a movie that'll stay in your head. Well, that's for sure, Pete Hammond. It sure has stayed in my head. It's been in my head for 2+ months of me thinking it is the biggest tonal disaster in the history of filmmaking. Spirited, fresh. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, fresh. The Estate, don't even know what that is, fresh. It's mostly fresh. Rosalind. But see, here's the thing. Even on the rotten reviews, they're not hammering, right? Goodnight Mommy, it's not an awards film. You'll never find an awards film, Fableman's fresh. That's obviously a joke. Fableman's definitely not fresh. Good Nurse. Okay, here we go. These are awards films. Remember what I said. You're not going to see him trash an awards film because he's going to do a Q&A. For those of you guys who don't know, when you Don't Worry, Darling's fresh, that one I actually like. The Sun, it's a little bit too much for me there. Empire Light. See, these are all of the award films are fresh. Bullet Train's rotten. It's not an awards film. So here's the thing. Pete Hammond at least has some negative reviews, but what we're trying to point out is when you look at a critic, we're talking about Pete Hammond here. When you're looking at a critic who is reviewing an awards film, you have to say some are bad. Look at me this year. Fableman's terrible. Babylon, awful. Whale, atrocious. 3 films that have no business in any kind of best picture situation. Only one of them got there. So I really feel very just empowered by the fact that the Academy did not nominate Babylon or The Whale. I feel like we played a part in that. I do. I mean, the tweets that I sent about that movie went viral. They were seen by a lot of people. And that's the beauty of doing this, is that you get to get your opinion in there that was right about The Whale and Babylon, and then hopefully change the course of history. That's what you want out of this. That's the ultimate goal of this. But Pete Hammond's not going to hate a film that's an awards film. Why? You're asking, why wouldn't he? Because his meal ticket disappears at that point. If you hate a film, they are not going to ask you to do the Q&A. So, Fableman's, Universal. Now, listen, I haven't done a Q&A. Could I do a Q? I would slaughter a Q&A, and I mean that in a good way, not a bad. I would slaughter it. And here's why I have to like the film, first of all. But I could never do a Q&A for a film you hate, neither can Pete. That's why he can't say it's bad. Because he can't do the Q&A, which means he's losing money. I don't have that at all. Obviously, you guys can see. We're doing the Riddler's YouTube show here, essentially, which I love. It's amazing. That's what I wanted to do. I don't want anything other than this. But because of that, we have the power to come out and say, these films suck ass. And it is what it is. If they kick us off the list like Netflix has, so be it. Because I can watch it when it comes on the service. I have availability to me somewhere I can see it. I'm not going to lose sleep over not watching a film. So for the rest of these people that are tied into the system like Pete Hammond, you lose that. You lose the access. It's over. It's done. You can't have that as somebody who is in that world, right? Pete reviews don't necessarily support your. Nope. Nope. Gore, do not stick up for me. I know you like Pete. I'm going to call you out on this. I would actually bring you, if you want to come on the stream, we can actually argue about the show of the week right now. I will literally send you the link right now in the comments. If you say you want to join, I will send you the link and you're on. I will jump on and we'll debate this. Pete Hammond is a shill. I'm not going to have this any other way. He's not 100% on everything because a shill can't love everything. Erick Davis is going to be impossible to beat. He is the shill Hall of Fame, okay? But Pete Hammond is absolutely in consideration for the Hall of Fame because it is a constant stream of everything is great. Occasionally, he's going to break from that with a safe film like a Bullet Train, like Goodnight Mommy, like what was the other streaming thing? That's easy to do. He's never going to destroy a film that is going to get him money. That makes you a shill because you're tied into the system, right? A shill is tied in and they are receiving something via these positive reviews. Erick Davis gets paid by Fandango. Erick Davis cannot destroy a film. Erick Davis's words have zero value. Zero. Not even 0.1%. They have zero value. Whatever he says. And if he wants to debate that, I'll pull him on right now. He can't debate that. There's no way he can debate it because he will lose because he knows he's a shill. So that's the point. You can't argue with something you know you are. Oh, you're not a huge. You are not. You're afraid, ladies and gentlemen. Gore's afraid. I'm going to call him out right now. He's at home watching the Super Bowl at his place, and he doesn't want to come on because I would absolutely gut him live. He would defend Pete Hammond and he'd lose all night, every night. More comments here. Get into it. Let's go back to the beginning because we've done the entire. This is everything I wanted to talk about tonight. Although I did want to mention this tonight's kit, Venetia. It was a funny story. Was it NBA or NFL players had one of these kits on, the black one from Venetia, and it's actually a knockoff. And the owner was like, the owner of this team was like, that's a fake jersey. This is a real one, direct from Italy. That's how we roll here. Have too many, by the way. I need to really stop adding to my soccer kit collection. It's too many. Let's go back to the beginning. Anyone wants to get in? We're in here on this Sunday night, and I want to make sure I didn't miss any super chats. I did not. Let's go back. Tell me what was your favorite trailer tonight? Was it The Flash? Because what else would it be? Guardians 3. That one. You had 65 with Adam Driver, who was in 2 commercials. And then you had Creed 3. Out here was interesting. One thing that we did have that was really cool. We had a Top Gun Maverick FYC commercial. So if you do not know how commercials work with Super Bowl and the stations, right, the affiliates, the Fox affiliates in this case. So the local station gets a little bit of ad time for themselves. Everything else comes from the network. So all those ads that you're seeing, for the movies like 65 and Creed 3 and The Flash, all of that is a national ad. When they flash to the local station, then the local stations can sell things like car dealerships or restaurants or whatever they want to sell. In LA's case, we're still talking about something big. They ran a Top Gun Maverick FYC thing talking about Best Picture because they knew they're advertising in LA with Academy voters watching the Super Bowl. I'm telling you here tonight, I've said it before, I've got whole screens on it. Top Gun Maverick can win Best Picture. I am absolutely certain of it. Will it happen? I'm not saying it's gonna a lock, but if you're telling me, hey, here's your chips. My chips are my DVDs from the FY screeners behind me. Here's your chips, bro. Put them all on one movie. It's certainly not Fableman's. I would stick them all on Top Gun Maverick. Let it ride. It's going to win because of the preferential ballot. That is why it's going to win. The preferential ballot is going to help that film tremendously. It is not going to fall below the top 3 films on anybody else's ballot. No question. I mean, who's going to have Top Gun Maverick at number 10 when you have Everything Everywhere All at Once right there? No. No one's going to have that film below 3. So as such, it's always going to be up at that top. And on a preferential ballot, that means you have a very high likelihood of winning. Whenever your film is not divisive, is widely beloved. Look at Coda last year. Who hated Coda? It's not a great film. Certainly isn't a Best Picture. One of the worst Best Picture selections in the history of the Oscars. But it is impossible to hate. It's not exciting to like, but it's impossible to hate. That means on a preferential ballot, it's going to be in the top 3, 4, 5 films. Top Gun Maverick's going to be in the top 2, 3. So Maverick, if it wins, I'm telling you guys, it's going to happen. If it happens, you better come back. First of all, I'll find plenty of tweets. I've said this over and over. It has a really, really, really good shot of going. Sorry, Ian, I missed it. It's funny. Top Gun Maverick now technically advertised during 3 Super Bowls. That's right. 2020, 22, and 23. That is so true because it was a local ad, but it still is an ad during the Super Bowl. Excellent comment. Gold star for you, Ian. Let's go back. Thoughts on Elvis. So, Max, welcome to the channel. I don't think I've seen you before. Elvis is very much like Top Gun Maverick. It is a film that is going to perform very well on a preferential ballot, right? One more time, preferential ballot. For those of you who, it makes sense, right? We just say it, you probably understand, but let's just do it quickly. You rank your 10 films 1 through 10. Let's pull up awardsace.com and I will show you what I have the rankings right now. It says you guys may or may not know, I do run the website, which is called awardsace.com. Okay, let's go to it. And here it is. Okay, so we go to Best Picture. There's a bunch. What did I tell you guys? I have too many football kits / soccer jerseys. I mean, what are they advertising for me? So funny. It's so good. They're so smart, those advertisers. Okay, here we go. I have Top Gun Maverick as the front runner. Okay. I have the Fablemans there, Banshees, everything everywhere. Now, everybody who's saying that film's going to win, I need to remind you that there is a significant portion of people who've watched that film that do not love it as much as you do. I'm just assuming you love it. Therefore, when we talk about a preferential ballot, and these are the 10 films, you are going to rank that lower. Now, it still will be up, so that's why I have it in the middle. Elvis is a film that is going to do very well in a preferential ballot. I have it in the 5 hole. I probably should slide it up a little bit. Tar is going to be a little more divisive. I think Tar is the best film of the year, even over Maverick. For me, it's easily the best overall film from a filmmaking perspective. Every aspect of it, Tar is number 1. All Quiet on the Western Front, interesting story. So Netflix is really putting the full court press on this thing. Yesterday had a big event. I know Gore went to it. It was down at the Academy Museum. I can't go. I mean, I can't even go. Netflix would kick me out. So be it. Don't care. I mean, it's fine. Like I said, I'll live. I'd rather be a strong critic of Netflix than go to an event by Netflix. It doesn't mean anything to me. But All Quiet on the Western Front will probably come up a little bit on that. I just do not think that can win. Not over Maverick. There's no way All Quiet can win over Maverick. It shouldn't happen. Okay. Maverick here's the thing that Maverick has going for it, and I know it says in the ads, no movie mattered more than Maverick, right? No movie mattered more this past year than Maverick. It brought people back to theaters. In fact, I would argue it saved theaters. We talked about the films that saved theaters. There were quite a few, but Maverick this year really re-energized theatrical, and you look for evidence no further of that happening than Elvis, which dovetails perfectly, Max, into your question. Elvis was weeks after Maverick. And what happened? Maverick broke the glass ceiling. Those people that were scared to stay at home. COVID's going to kill us. We can't go to a movie. Oh my God, if I go, I'm going to die. That whole crowd went to see Maverick, and they woke up the next morning and go, I'm alive. My God, you can actually go see a movie and still live. Which Gore and I proved by going to Vegas in the middle of the killer virus that everybody was perishing from. But when you break that, people all of a sudden started coming back. You had Elvis right after Maverick do 200 million plus worldwide. What's the number on Elvis right now? It's over 200. Is it 300? Hold on, Elvis box office. I'd lost track of it after it's been gone for a while. 287. So it's almost 300 million. But Elvis is going to do very well in a preferential ballot. Avatar is not, God, how is that even here? Avatar is such a mid film. Women Talking's no way is going to win. That's so far back. And Triangle of Sadness has a 0% chance. Triangle of Sadness has a 0% chance of winning Best Picture. Women Talking, a 1% chance of winning, right? As we go up the ladder here on awardsace.com, you add your percentages. Avatar, 5%. All Quiet on the Western Front, I'd actually put it about 25%. Tar, they'll call it 25. Elvis, 30. Everything Everywhere All at Once, let's go 50 on that. Banshees, 51. Fablemans, 75. And I'll go Top Gun Maverick, 76%. Just throwing those numbers off the top of my head looking at this. So I say Top Gun Maverick has a 76% chance of winning Best Picture. Elvis, somewhere about 40 or 50. So put your money on Maverick. Tar was beautifully shot. We called it when we came out of it, right? Anyone who's been here since the beginning of MMT, when we came out of that screening here in LA back in October, I said, this is not just a performance film. It's anything but. It's direction. It is cinematography, not score. Because you guys know, score is non-existent, essentially. It was there, but he buried it so far down. Todd Field told me directly, he put it so low in the mix, but that was his choice. There is a score, you just didn't hear it. And then you have, that's a film across the board. Screenplay, my God. That's a film that plays in every single arena. Maybe not production design. We know, we've talked about production design. That's world building. Yeah, you have to build the world, but it's not quite this. It's not the same. Not the same as world building for Avatar or Pinocchio, right? A film or any period piece, essentially. Jaffo, welcome to the channel, by the way. On the betting site, I use Top Gun going for 8.5 to 1. Take it right now. In fact, please tell me, Jaffo, in the comments, I swear to God, leave me, if I can, you can point me to where that is. I'll put money on it right now. I'll put 100 on it. Easy. 100 at 8.5 to 1. I will absolutely take it at 100, just 100 to throw down. I'll take $800, right? 850. No, wait, 8.5. It's more than that. No, it's 850. Did I do my math right? So yeah, that's a good number. Jim, Fablemans cannot win because I refuse to continue talking about this movie. If it wins, it will be one of the worst Best Picture wins ever. There it is. This film sucks. Okay, this is a terrible film. If it was by any other director than Steven Spielberg, and you guys know that the smartasses will come out there and go, well, it would be really weird because it's about Steven. No, stop. Don't do that. You know what I'm saying? The movie's terrible. And if it's about anybody but Steven Spielberg, this movie is not in Best Picture. Not even close. It's trash. I mean, it's not as hot trash as The Whale or Babylon. Do I have the Whale screener here? I think I do somewhere. Where's the Whale screener? I was contemplating just putting it up, like just his fat like chin. Hold on. Nah, I gotta look for it. It's here. You guys know what I do have right here. There it is. Every stream. Hello, Grayman. That's it. I'm done with that. So Fableman's better not win, right? Eddie, don't watch it. There's no reason for you to watch The Fablemans. It is schmaltzy. If someone said, what's a schmaltzy film that feels fake AF? Watch The Fablemans. Perfect. Saccharine. Every single thing in this feels fake. Do not watch it. I would love to. They should have had a whale popcorn box. That would have been awesome. Hold on. I'm going to find the whale box. Just give me a second. It's going to take me once. The screen's going to go blank, but I'll be here. All right, let's see. It's here. Give me one second. Here it is. I got it. I've got the whale. I mean, I really have been debating whether I want to put this up. I really don't want to put this up. There it is. So this is the whale. What the hell's the quote? Let me read. Hold on. A portrait of an eternal optimist who still cherishes hope for humanity. Brendan Fraser delivers a career best performance. Screen International. A portrait of an eternal optimist who still. This movie sucks. What are you talking about? A sensational film? The Telegraph. What is going on here about compassion? A thing of beauty and power. Oh my God. Oh my God. And there's more. There's more quotes in here. I mean, this is terrible. Oh, by the way, I did want to do something. I want to savage everybody who said this movie's good. But I did want to go through, I wanted to do this, and we are going to do it. I wanted to go through the Rotten Tomatoes reviews for Magic Mike's Last Dance. I just called it the worst film I've seen in probably a decade. There's got to be people who said this is good. It's at 45% right now on Rotten Tomatoes. Let's go through some of the fresh reviews so I can cancel every single one of these critics. Here we go. Okay, there's a good job, Wendy, with a rotten. James, rotten. Bob Mondello of NPR, a little less magic. There's a bit less. Try a shit ton less magic. There's zero magic. Zero magic. Joey Shapiro of the Chicago Reader. Positive. No. Spray tans have more depth than the characters. LaRushka of Metro newspaper in UK. You are the I don't need to even read anymore. The spray tans have more depth than the characters. LaRushka, you're my new favorite critic. If I don't follow you on Twitter, I'm coming to follow you right now because you win. You nailed this film. This film is so bad. Let's see if there's a few more. LaRushka, I now have a crush on you. Steven Soderbergh's Magic Mike series has been one of the most surprisingly rich trilogies, but the final climax is somewhat of a letdown. Adam from The Ringer, it's not. You need to get rid of somewhat. Okay, there's a lot of rottens, but there's also fresh. I mean, there shouldn't be one fresh review here. Maybe one. It should be at like 1%. 100 reviews and one person thought it was good. That's the best I can do about this. Sotfic, I mean, a little bit Erick Dane. My the hair's going gray. I'm not going to lie to you. It is what it is. There's worse things to look at. Like, see, you look like Robert Downey Jr. and Erick Dane. Like, oh, it's terrible. I hate hearing those things. Someone came up to me the other day when I was walking out of the gym and said, "Are you some guy on Prison Break?" I go, "What? No, I barely remember the show, but apparently there's someone on Prison Break." that I look like. Magic Mike's Last Dance is one of the it is the worst movie of 2023. It'll be very difficult to beat it. I mean, I don't give zeros out to anything. I mean, I got to go back to that. What was the movie? Hobo with a Shotgun. What was the Bobcat Goldthwait? Right. I gave that a 0 because in the movie he takes out a sawed-off shotgun and blows a baby's head off. And when I saw that, I said, I hate this film and it's repugnant and I give it a 0. That's probably the last time I gave it a 0. Everything else is at least a 1 for trying. This film is a waste of everybody's time and energy, and Channing Tatum has made some bad films lately. You look at Dog. That's not a great film. It's still better than this. But Dog, again, another script that's horrible. I mean, in Dog, like when he's at that thing, he meets the two girls, they're gonna have a threesome, and then the dog. It's the weirdest script. I don't know who's writing the scripts, but you need to get a new friend. Channing Tatum, please, before you get hair plugs. I can't believe I just said that. You need to get a new screenwriting friend. Hey, we all face it, man. I go, look, I mean, I'm happy I still have a hair. I'm good with it. It's good. Satvik, I didn't mean it in a bad way. I watched Marley and Me, the movie with Owen Wilson. I saw him on there. Immediately thought he was your twin. No, it's fine. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. I didn't see any Max, by the way. I saw none. For those of you, I don't go to film festivals because I like to watch the films as they are released. Great example of that, going back to last year's Sundance. When you look at Emily the Criminal, a film that I heard some good things about, but it didn't get released until August. So it finally comes out, and no one was talking about Emily the Criminal. And that's when you should be talking about Emily the Criminal. The only people who should be talking about films out of Sundance, and I mean this, are the studios. Critics shouldn't even discuss them because you're talking to your little circle jerk of people who went to Sundance. And yes, I know you're trying to build buzz, but at the end of the day, the majority of these films are going to be on ice for a while. So you're talking about something that over time is going to get old. And Emily the Criminal was suffered tremendously from that. Everyone who was raving about that film or even discussing it back at Sundance, when it came out, it was like no one was talking about Emily the Criminal. I went to see it and I'm like, this film's great. I'd rather be talking about something that is out or on the verge of being released than something that is months or TBA to be released. And you ask, look at Creed 3. I saw that a month ahead of time. That's even a little too early for me because I can talk a little bit about the film, but I can't go all in on it because there's an embargo. Plus, you guys want to watch it. So it's hard to talk about a film in detail without giving you spoilers and things, other than just to say that it's a solid film. And tomorrow night, we talk about Ant-Man Quantumania. That's what it's called, Quantumania. I believe that's what it is. We will discuss that on a stream live tomorrow with that same old, this is not a review. Here's my social reaction, looking at other reactions. Do I agree or disagree with these reactions? That'll be tomorrow. Comes out Thursday. Looking really good for Ant-Man, by the way. We look at this box office setup for this film. It is in a space that we discuss all the time here on MMT. The perfect spot in the ocean. You had a massive wave come through with Avatar, and we've had nothing but tiny little ripples go by, including Magic Mike's Last Dance this weekend. Knock at the Cabin last weekend did not set the world on fire. 80 for Brady. Come on. We have not had a tentpole, 4-quad, blockbuster film in theaters since Avatar, which goes back, it's going to be a month and a half, more like 2 months. No, actually more than 2 months. So it's going to do well. Ant-Man is going to open at 150 plus. It's going to be the highest debut for any Ant-Man film, without a doubt. In fact, let's look. We'll get into this a little more tomorrow, but I do want to see what the other ones debuted. I know they weren't that big, right? The first one was not nearly, because Marvel wasn't as big as that. When the first one debuted with, was it in the 70s or something? 57. I mean, look, 57. The second one debuted definitely more than that, but I still don't think it was that huge. Maybe 105? Let's see. Give me a second. If I nail that, no, it wasn't even. It was 75. That's terrible. That was back in what year was that? Shit. Oh, 18. Listen, it's going to do it'll open. Okay. Based on the track record, 150 might be too high. Let's go 125 for Ant-Man. Now, you might think that's too high. We'll talk about that over the next couple days as we get ready to have this film released. But I feel like it's going to benefit from that. Not okay. Well, no, okay, Gore, I'm going to take it to 125. If you want to go, I'll take 125 and up. You take 124.9 and down. I'll do that bet for you right now. Absolutely correct right now. Max, I found you through a Film's Courage video. I heard you say you didn't like EAO and freaked out with joy. Thank you. First critic I've heard say something resembling my opinion on the movie. 100% Max. I don't even know if we did a full stream on this, but my number one problem with that film is the repetition of ideas over its length. It is at least 30 minutes too long. And that's not a tiny critique. That is a massive, massive note for a film. You are 30 plus minutes over long. That should never happen. Someone at A24 needed to get to the Daniels and say this film suffers from both length and, most importantly, repetition of ideas. At the end, I get it. There's your googly-eyed rocks. There's your Ratatouille. There's your black bagel. There's your hot dog fingers, but not 10 fucking times each. How anybody thinks that's good. I didn't think I'd get this angry about the film again, but here it is. How does anyone think that is good filmmaking? You can't defend that. There's no way you can defend that. The film would be very strong at 140. But at 225, it's destroyed. You ruined the film, Daniels. And I told you when I came out of the film, when I first came out, what's the comment I had on Twitter that went viral? I want to start an Everything Everywhere All at Once is overrated fan club, but I fear no one else will admit it. And I was right, and we're still living that sad existence here today where people still consider that film to be a masterpiece. Are you kidding me? You are making a mockery of cinema by calling that a masterpiece. Okay. It's all good. It's good. It's good. No, I'm not backpedaling. Listen, the donut, the black. I get. Listen, it's not about not understanding things, Max. Here's the point. It is simply from a very. Listen, it's this simple. As an evaluator of film, as somebody who one day will have the opportunity to watch films and say, this is what you need to do. I am a film doctor. You have to cut 30 minutes out of that film. 30, not 5, not 10, not 30 minutes are gone. And I would actually walk out of the room at that point. If I had a meeting and I watched that film, I'd say, you're cutting 30 minutes out of this and it has to be done. I'm going to pull the old Harvey Weinstein, not the rapey Weinstein, the one who was you're going to make your movie 140 and that's it. And he walks out. We need more of that. We need more people in Hollywood who tell these directors it's too much. Someone should have told Soderbergh, well, it should have never even come to this. There shouldn't even be a Magic Mike Last Dance. It's horrifically bad. The fact they greenlit that is an atrocity. And the fact that no one told him that every scene in that movie, Magic Mike 3, every single scene runs on a minute or two too long. Not 10 seconds, a minute or two, including the first strip dance thing with Selma Hayek on the couch. That is 2+ minutes too long. Every single thing in this movie is too long. Everything Ever All at Once, it has to be 30 minutes shorter. And because it's not, it can never, ever win Best Picture. If it ever wins, it'll be one of the worst Best Picture wins ever. Coda's one of the worst because as a film, from a filmmaking perspective, Coda is an embarrassment to Best Picture. I can't say that about the Daniels. I think the filmmaking on EEAO is strong. They know what they're doing. They know how to direct an artistically interesting film. The screenplay in the back half of that is not. So it will be one of the worst Best Picture wins ever if it ever wins, especially if it loses. If it wins and Maverick loses, or if it wins and Tar loses, name any film that's better, and that's virtually any of these films in contention. I mean, I would even suggest Triangle of Sadness. Triangle of Sadness has issues, but there's more to like in Triangle of Sadness than Everything Everywhere. Because even though it is overlong, it doesn't bash you into submission with the repetition of ideas like EAO. I mean, No, Max. I'm never watching the film again. It's not going to ever happen. You'd have to come in with a super chat of $500, and then I would. That's it. That's the only possible way I will ever watch it ever. John, I would argue that no. I would argue that Coda is worse. Now, Crash, I understand how people do not like, but I also understand how people like Crash, and I think from a filmmaking perspective, it's still better than Coda. Coda is a Lifetime movie masquerading as a Best Picture winner. The direction, I've said it, how many times have we talked about this? Has there ever been a Best Picture winner that had zero directorial precursors on the way in? Zero nominations for the director. It's unheard of. What that tells me is you didn't award the movie, the film, you awarded the idea of Coda. And I think that's fair. You guys know it is. Give me a like if you agree, because you know I'm right. Coda won because of its subject matter. It did not win because of filmmaking. There's no chance it won by filmmaking. It's one of the worst cookie cutter films that we've ever had up for Best Picture. Coda is an embarrassment to filmmaking as far as there's nothing about that film. Anyone who's watching the stream right now could probably come up with something even marginally more artistically interesting from a directorial standpoint. But watch out, Erick's attacking a female director. Oh, but wait, before I say that, he loved After Sun, and he thinks that Saint Maud was the best film of that year. So what do we do with that? Oh, my head's going to explode. My head's going to explode. He's attacking a female director, but he also loves 2 films directed by women. Oh my God, what am I going to do? That's what I love to do, is when people like to do that, they go, oh shit, what do I do with this? Because I'm not attacking the fact she's a woman. I'm attacking the fact that Coda is generic and it is a Lifetime film. The fact it's directed by a woman enters into it 0%. Just like After Sun and just like Saint Maud. They're great films. Not because they're directed by a woman. I'm 100% right, you guys. You guys know it. There's not even an argument. I would love to someone even try to attack that argument. They would get destroyed. That's the beauty of it. You can never win an argument when I'm spitting absolute fact, which is exactly what I just said. The critique of a film is never about the gender of the director. Ever. 0 times. Just like the praise of a film is never about the gender of the director. 0 times. It's about the quality of the film. And that's it. Anyone who even brings that up, I don't want to listen to. You instantly lose me. You show me you have the intellectual interest for me of literally of a negative. I can't even like engage in that. It makes no sense to me. None. Coda was just the white deaf version. Okay. I'm just reading a comment. King's Speech is, agree, Ken, you know I agree that King's Speech should never have beaten Social Network. That's a perfect film. So from that perspective, yes, but King's Speech from a filmmaking perspective still better than Coda, right? I mean, because if we're going to give something Best Picture, we are giving it to the best film, the best filmmaking, not just the, film that makes you feel good. Right? I mean, there has to be filmmaking behind it, and Coda doesn't have that. Yeah, Mob 19. I'm glad we got comments here. Mob, but here's the thing. Hollywood begs to differ. This is probably why I could never and never will work for a Hollywood studio. I would say that in a meeting, and they'd say, "You need to leave. You need to take your things and leave the building." I'd be like, "But what did I say that's wrong? How can you tell me what I just said was wrong? That it never matters the director's gender, only the quality of the film. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where the race of a director matters. It doesn't. It's all about the film. It's not about the race or the gender of the person who directed it. There's no other way to see this. There's no other way to see this. That is the ultimate inequality. When you're evaluating the work based on the work and not about anything to do with the person behind the work. that I'm 100% right. It's not even like 99.9. I'm 100% right. And anyone who does it the other way around, I feel bad for you because you're the one who has the issue, not me. Not those of us who do it like this. Not those of us who watch a movie and say it's terrible. When I watched The Whale, I didn't say The Whale is the worst film of the year because it's directed by Darren Aronofsky, because it's a white dude. I said the movie's fucking terrible. I would say it was terrible if it's directed by a woman. Doesn't matter. Why does it matter? I can't even wrap my head around that thinking. It doesn't matter at all. It's like 0%. It doesn't matter, man. All that matters is the end result. That's it. Nothing else. No, that's exactly, Steven, 100%, right? So I just came out of Creed 3 and I said it's not the best of the franchise. Coogler's 1 is the best. Oh, Ryan Coogler, Michael B. Jordan. Exactly. That's the thing that's insane to me, is as soon as you say like a film is not good by a director, let's just say I didn't like Creed 3. Oh, you don't like, and then you just go, I can't do this. I got to get out of here. I can't do this anymore. I can't play in this sandbox with you people that are demented, that have something wrong with you. Because I know it's hard to believe that there were actually people raised when they were kids to treat everyone the same. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine a world where I had friends that I viewed as people versus members of some group? No, they're good people. They're fun to be around. Not because of the color of their skin or whether they're a guy or a girl. There's something wrong with those people. There's something fundamentally broken inside of you if you do it any other way. That's how my parents raised me. It's how I was raised. Everyone's the same. The janitor at my gym is the same as Jodie Foster. Yes, she works out at my gym. Seriously. It's the same. They're people. Who cares if one mops the floor and one makes multi-million-dollar movies and is in, one of my favorite movies of all time, Taxi Driver? Doesn't matter. They're still a person. Get there. You need to, not you guys, because I know you guys are awesome. The people who aren't need to get to that space where people are not objects. People are human beings and everyone has a value. Regardless, you don't change your value of someone based on the color of their skin or the race or the gender. You don't do that, man. You don't do it. God. You guys know I'm right. It's like anyone who watches this would be like, it's 100% right. But then, of course, the negative person. Says the white guy. Says the white guy. Like, what? It's so shitty. It's so lame. Why are you, like, to even think that way, right? I feel bad for you. Not you. I'm not speaking to you guys. I feel bad for anybody who thinks that way. Oh, you think that way because you're a white guy. You think that way because you're you think that. Just how about we try something very unique where we just value the value of the person versus what they are or what they can do for you. I know it's hard in this time. It's hard in this town, especially. Ken, everything I just said was like, I should just cut that. And then I'd love to see what the quote woke people would say to that. What would they even say? Like, what would you say? Well, we're going to go through everything you've ever said about a film. And they go, wait a second. He hated that film by a woman, but then he loved that one. He hated this one directed by, and then they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do because they can't pin you down. And that drives them crazy. They try to pigeonhole you into something. That's the problem with people like me and independent thinkers who are fiercely independent. You can't pin them down. And that's why you never know what I'm going to say about a film or anything, because I don't have a dog in the fight. I don't care. I'm objective. I wanted to like Magic Mike's Last Dance. It's terrible. Who would want an award based on their race or gender? Right? I mean, Jimmy, listen, honestly, let's just go down this road because I have no problem talking about this stuff. I wouldn't, again, says the white guy, I would never want to be invited or be part of something because I'm filling a quota. Let's just put it that way. Let's just say that if that's the way that we want to look at this. It cheapens you. I would hope that you want to be valued in what you bring to the table, your talents, not your genetic makeup, right? Um, you know, that's how it should go. I would never want someone to say, let's just say in the bizarre world, we're almost there anyhow with the way the world's going. That white guys are overvalued, right? So, hey, Eric, you're a white guy, so we're going to bring. No, I don't. No, I mean, do you like the content? Do you like the fact that I savage films? Well, then awesome, we'll do it. Do you want me there because I'm a white guy? I'm not really interested. I'm just saying, imagine the bizarre world that I'm proposing to you. Yeah, it's. I know I'm right. I know I'm 100% right, and I know anybody who has an operating brain knows when they hear everything I just said goes, that's everything you just said is so true. It's 100% true. There's no other way to look at it, and I will never look at it that way. I would never. I would be real trouble for a studio if I ever got in a position because they would say we need to do this, and I'm like, no, we don't. We need to hire the best actor. We need to hire the best director. We need to hire the best writer. We don't need to hire based on what someone looks like or where they were raised or what school they went to. We need to hire the best person. That is the end of the discussion. We just watched the Super Bowl. Was any player on that field? Was any player on that field on the field because someone needed to fill a quota? No, they were all on the field because they were good at what they did. They brought value to the position. Whether they were 7th round pick, Pacheco, or Mahomes, 1st round pick, they were the best that the organization thought in that position that they played on the field. Why don't we do that everywhere else? Sports does that. Why don't we do that everywhere? You know why? Because we have people who whine when they don't get it, right? They whine and say, well, the reason I didn't get it is because of this, right? No, maybe, I know this is crazy. Just stick with me here for a minute. Maybe it's because someone thought something was better. I know it's like insane that would ever be a thought that someone could have, that you could value the overall quality of something versus, just trying to fill a quota. It's like at this point, there's nothing more to say about it, guys. That's everything you need to know. And it's 100% accurate. And that's how I'd run a studio. I'd say, no, we're not doing that. We're going to do the shows that we're going to make good television, period. We're not going to try to appease this group or that group. We're going to make good quality shows. We're going to make a great film. We're not going to try to appease this group and that group and this. No. We're going to get the best possible person. And go back to Wonder Woman 84 and you look at Wonder Woman 3. If anyone said, oh, I'm sure they did. Oh, James Gunn just didn't want to have a woman direct Wonder Woman, so he got rid of her. No, he got rid of Patty Jenkins because she made the worst comic book movie ever in Wonder Woman 84. And after you make something like that, I can never have you make another film for me in the history of films going forward in the studio. That's what James Gunn did. He didn't say, I don't want to have a woman or Patty Jenkins. He did say not to Patty Jenkins because she made Wonder Woman 84. According to the box, it's full of heart, spectacle, and wonderment. Jamie from iFilm, I hope you got out of the film evaluation space after that. I hope you're no longer around. Because to issue a quote that is full of heart, spectacle, and wonderment about Wonder Woman 84, help me out here, guys. Mission Impossible 7 trailer. It's over. It is over. Over. Jamie, over. You're never coming back from that. 5-minute warning. She should code it too, please. Please do not don't give Apple any ideas. I know some producers that watch this. Please do not give them any ideas. We do not need to know what happens to her after she goes to college. Oh my God, that movie. I know I'm completely enraging Scott Menzel if he's watching the stream here tonight. Scott is the number one champion of that film, loves it. And he really does love it. But he has to admit, it is a Hallmark movie. It is not a cinematic event. It's not even close. Replace one of your tars with the whale. Eddie, damn, that would be... You're asking a lot of me if I'm going to go like, okay, I know there's 2 tars, but let's just stick it there for a minute. First of all, let me get the DVD out. 1 second. Okay, DVD's got to come out because it's just too much weight. All right, so here we go. The whale. Let's just look, guys. We're just, like it's like when you come back and you're putting the paint swatches up. We're gonna put a paint swatch up on the MMT Studios. It's the whale paint swatch. It's a color of deep brown shit. It actually is. Okay, let's put it right here. Let's see if it'll stay. I'm not sure it will. I'll hold it there. I mean, I don't even want to see Fraser's face. Not that I don't like Brendan Fraser. I don't want to ever have to be reminded of the whale again. So to put it there it's good because the boom arm is kind of blocking it, but I feel like there's almost nowhere to put the whale. I can't look at it. Like Wonder Woman 84 is laughable to me. The whale is not. So I can't do it. I as much as I love Tar, so I'd rather have two Tar. I'm sorry. It's an idea. We tried it. The paint swatch isn't going to work. This is not going to happen. But I'm here for those suggestions. That's what we're doing here. Less than 5 minutes. You want to get in? Get in. Tomorrow night we're back. Ant-Man and Wasp in Quantumania. Is that the full title? We're going to see it. It starts about 7, 2 hours. It's close. I'm in Burbank. It'll take a few minutes. I bet you the stream's on at 9:15 tomorrow. 9:15, we'll be talking about Ant-Man with our typical, this is not a review. For those of you who haven't watched, we pop this up, and that way the studio knows that we are not reviewing the film. We're only talking cursorily about the film. We're not talking about, the nuts and bolts and the details of it. This year's Best Picture categories have good movies except for Everything Everywhere. What's your opinion? Let's look at it again. Let me look at all 10 again, because I've talked about these movies so long, I'm almost like over talking about all these films. Okay, here we go. Good. Let's just go good, bad, or indifferent on the top 10. Maverick, good. Fabelmans, bad. Banshees, mid at best for me. I like the first half, hate the second half. Everything Everywhere, mid. Elvis, good. Tar, good. All Quiet, good. Avatar, mid to bad. Women Talking, good. Triangle Sadness, mid plus. I would say it's a decent year. It's not 2019. You go back and you look at the 2019 lineup. Let's pull it up. 2019 Best Picture lineup. You had Parasite. We also had others. Hold on, let me look. I mean, how soon we forget, right? 1917. Hold on. I got to put in 2020. It says Green Book. I hate when they do that. It's like, it's the year it is versus the year it is. Hold on. 2020. Parasite. Okay, here we go. Come on. Here it is. Hold on. Give me a second. Let's pop it up. I got to pop up the right one. Why is it so hard to find what you're looking for sometimes? Like, here it is. I should just put in 90 second. Okay, here we go. No. Yeah, okay. No, wait, this is the hell. Oh, yeah, there it is. My bad. Okay, so here we go. Let's do 2019, one of the stronger years ever. Parasite, outstanding. Ford Ferrari, very good. Irishman, good. Jojo Rabbit, mid to good. Joker, good. Little Women, good. Marriage Story, mid to good. 1917, mid to good. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, good. 2019, top to bottom, one of the best years you're going to see. Okay, when you're talking about Parasite, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Joker, and I would actually I really like Little Women, but let's just keep it on Parasite, Once Upon a Time, and Joker. Those three films make one of the strongest Best Picture lineups ever when you look at that top to bottom, right? So this year's not as strong as that. Now, go back to this year. This year, when you look at it, Maverick is of that. Okay, here, let's play this game as we finish here. Let's take, and I'll say, what movies would I take from this year and swap with 2019? I would take Maverick into 2019 to contend. Fabelmans would be completely out. It'd be totally out. Banshees would not make it in 2019. Everything Everywhere would not make it in 2019. Elvis might. It'd be close. Tar would. All Quiet, no, well, definitely not against 1917. 1917 would beat All Quiet. And let me tell you, for one reason and one reason only, whether you argue the quality or the merit, they're both obviously World War I films. When you look at the difference, one is Universal, one's Netflix, and Universal will beat Netflix all day, every day when it comes down to awards. It's just, that's the way it is. Netflix is still trying to come up, but I'm telling you, Hollywood views Universal as a studio. Netflix is still not there, and it's until they figure out theatrical, they're not going to be. It's that simple. Not going to happen. You figure it out, Netflix. I've only told you 1,000,000 times you need to do theatrical. Don't want to listen? Fine. Then we're just going to keep hammering you for not doing theatrical. I have no problem with that. I don't care anymore. Why do I care? Women Talking. Women Talking, I don't think would make it in 2019. I think it deserves to be there. Triangle Sadness, no way. 2019 is a stronger year. Stronger year. But Parasite still wins. So, what's interesting, so you guys know I love the NFL draft. We just talked about the Super Bowl to start this whole thing. Obviously, great games tonight. But when you look at the draft, you look at films, that's how I like to do it. I like to look at a year's draft and then say, take a player from that year and slide him into another year. How would they do? If you were to take Top Gun Maverick and put it up against Parasite, it would lose. Parasite is going to beat every film this year. Okay. But I think Maverick can be closer there. Everything Everywhere is just the weirdest film to me because it really has no business here. It doesn't. Performances are very good. Screenplay on the second half just destroy the film. And even direction. If they win for direction, that is going to be a very bad win. Very, very bad win if the Daniels win direction, because part of direction is knowing that your film is 30 minutes too long. And we cannot be giving Oscars to films that are 30 minutes too long. You cannot give a director something like that. You can't. That's their job, to get their film to the best possible version that they can before it's released. And they didn't do that. They went for the gratuitous route, which we see so many directors do. No surprise the Daniels did it. Every director does it now because no one, bringing it back to what we talked about, and then we're going to wrap the stream. No one in Hollywood has the balls to tell these directors, stop, cut your movie down. You don't need this. This is too much. You need less of that. It's never you need more. It's always less, because no matter what it is always, almost universally, less is more. And now at an hour and 20 minutes, we're at more, which means it's time for less, which means Midnight Movie Talk is over. Tomorrow night, live from Los Angeles, Ant-Man and Wasp, Quantumania. We'll have the review about 9:15 Pacific time. Enjoy the rest of your night. I'll see you tomorrow night. Good night from Los Angeles.